Hey, yeah, what's up? This is Cyber Marshall Occurrence, rain back up in this, anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day. So this message basically gonna be, um, this message is gonna be about the difference between homeless people and drug addicts and alcoholics that's on the streets. The difference between, the difference between homeless people, people just without a home, and drug addicts and alcoholics and monsters that's on the streets. I'm calling it for what it is because during these holidays, y'all giving money out to monsters, drug addicts, and they have no intentions of getting themselves off the streets. They have no intentions of feeding themselves. They have no intentions of taking care of themselves in any form or fashion. Your money is just for their drug habit. They finna get busy. If they was already busy for Thanksgiving, but they gonna be busy all up until 2022 January 1st. I would say even 2000 January 2nd, 2022. They're going to be on out there getting money for Christmas, getting money for New Year's Eve, while y'all still in the holiday spirit and happy, not paying attention. Y'all going to be giving money to drug addicts and alcoholics that's doing nothing but supplying their habits. Using your money to supply their habits. And some of y'all know this, but y'all don't know how deep it is. It's people out there that are straight up scavengers. They're not homeless. Their drug habit made them homeless. Their alcoholism, to the degree that it is, made them homeless. Homelessness is a byproduct of their drug addiction. Alcoholism is their homelessness is a byproduct of their alcoholism. They out there because they're drug addicts. You see the difference? They're not out there because they are without a place to stay. They are out there because they are drug addicts, monsters, and alcoholics. I've been out there, I know. The reason why I don't have an ID today is because of an alcoholic person in San Francisco. And the time before that, the other ID I had, when I was just without a home, homeless on the streets, someone reached over my body and took my ID. From that day forward, I got a whole different perspective of people that's homeless. Yeah, I have a whole different perspective. And what they don't understand is they ain't gonna be able to be out there on the streets forever. It's finna get crazy, bruh. It's finna get crazy. You are not gonna be able to be no little homeless person out on the streets doing your little drug addict thing. You got, that's all they doing. You got straight up alcoholics and drug addicts having parties on the streets. That's all it is. You need to know this, man, because they make it bad for people like me. I was homeless because of this last time as a result of domestic violence. You understand? That's why I was homeless. Not because I'm a drug addict. You know what I'm saying? And it really was for my good though, because I should have never been in that situation in the first place. But the point is, that's why I was on the street. It wasn't because I was drugging. It wasn't because I was too drunk to find my way to a place to stay and maintain. It was because of domestic violence. And a lot of other times I was homeless. It was just me relocating, starting from scratch. I always have an intention to come up. I always have intentions of coming up, but I want to come up the way I want to come up. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to start from scratch. I'm willing to start from the streets. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference, man. There are some people that are out there that are really homeless, truly homeless. Don't get me wrong. And they just need a place to stay. But more times than not, it's homeless people that's on the streets. And I'm not even just talking about the ones that be panhandling from the stores. I ain't even talking about them. Or the ones panhandling on the streets, man. It's packs and packs of people that live all around the country. And they have no intentions of getting off the streets because they just love drugging and they love being alcoholics. They love being monsters on the streets. And they're not nice, and they're not innocent, and they're not good people a lot of times. You need to know this. Like the last 2 times I lost my ID, I'm being nice right there, saying lost. The last 2 times I had my ID stolen was from a homeless person. You know what I'm saying? And because that was such a significant document, it just changed my whole perspective of homeless people. You know what I'm saying? And what they don't realize, man, they already are not an asset to the community in the country. People in America hate homeless people more than any other type of people. This is what you gotta understand. I didn't know. Really, to be real, I needed to spend some more extended time out in the streets. And then I started to wake up, man. I was like, dang. Man, people do not like homeless people. Black people even ghetto black people, they feel better, they better than homeless people. Being on the streets homeless is the new ghetto. Because you got to remember, a lot of these rappers are making these ghettos famous and loved and valued. We talk about Brooklyn, you talk about even poor parts of Brooklyn there's reverence for certain neighborhoods. Like, even though it's poor. So because that's been happening in the past 20 years, these neighborhoods that some people look down on have value. They have significance. And people that live there feel like they're a part of that significance. If you live in Compton, you have a sense of pride. You're from one of the hardest neighborhoods. A lot of people are like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can hear it in the music. They have pride that they're from Compton. Same thing with Brooklyn, Marcy Projects, and you know, East New York, different places in Brooklyn. People have pride. Harlem, they have pride. There's not a lot of money there. They're not rich. Most of them are not rich, but they have pride in where they're from. So ghetto, in a sense, have had the devaluing, if you will, of ghetto citizens. That has kind of been taken away through hip hop culture and other mediums, other outlets, you know, other dynamics. The culture, American culture, has taken away the stigma from the citizens that live in those neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? So the new ghetto of invaluable people is the streets, the straight butt-naked streets. Living on the streets, being homeless, those people are they are devalued by America. So they the new ghetto. People look down on people, walk past homeless people, black people from the hood, from all them hoods I named. I'm not saying everybody from those hoods I named, but people from the hood, I've seen it. They look down. They look down on homeless people. Homeless people are the new ghetto. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, it's a lot of people out there that have no intentions of getting off the streets. They have no intentions of bettering themselves. And what are they going to do forever? I mean, what are they going to do forever? That's what I'm saying. Cause times are getting crazy. Like they're gonna wake up one day on the streets and it's gonna be straight up martial law. You're gonna have tanks rolling down the streets, man. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have straight up tanks and riots and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just, you know, you're gonna have Molotov bottles blowing up around you, busting on you and busting around you. You know, I mean, when are they gonna wake up? Am I saying to exterminate them or nothing? I'm not saying that, but eventually, somebody's gonna say they're worthless. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know where that's gonna lead them to. A camp, somewhere, and somewhere that you don't really want to be. But the streets is going to become basically preserved for war. It's going to be a war zone. I'm just showing you how it's going right now. Everything is subject to change. But without change, without any change, just looking at things for what they are without change, the streets is going to become a war zone. You ain't gonna be on the streets in the next 20 years. How you gonna be laying around with straight up warfare? Nah, man, you ain't gonna be able to do it. It's gonna be too much crazy. If it's not martial law, it's gonna be too crazy out there. It's winter, summer, spring, and fall. It's gonna be too crazy. Too much going on. You ain't gonna even feel comfortable sleeping on the streets. It's gonna be too many bugged out people just harming people for no reason. You know what I'm saying? This is what I realized my past couple times on the streets. That eventually this is gonna be gone. One day, I don't know when, but it's gonna be some type of something out there that's gonna push homeless people off the streets. Someone's gonna make a decision. Something's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Because homeless people are doing stuff, man. They doing crazy stuff. Look at that dude that was homeless and he in Philly. I think that was Philly, and raped a woman on the train. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I mean, he raped her on the train. Can you believe that? That's bugged out. Like, how's that happen? Like, what she was that scared? She just let it happen? Bruh. That's crazy. But that's crazy. All I'm saying, man, you gotta realize it, man. Police can't stand dealing. Most of them, I would say 40 to 50% of them, man, do not like homeless people. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because they feel like you could be working. When I already taught y'all, everybody can't work in America at one time. I'm gonna say that again. Everyone in America cannot work at the same time. We can't. It's not enough jobs for everybody. There will never be enough jobs for everybody. It's impossible. Okay? So what are they supposed to do? Because if everybody that was homeless went to find work, they wouldn't have enough job openings. You see how in trouble this country is? Now your president is not telling you that. All these politicians are not telling you that everybody cannot work at the same time. It's just so what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm gonna tell you what we're doing. We have in this country now the chosen few. That's what we're doing. America's picking and choosing who they want. I'm telling you, bro. This is what it is. So that's the sad part. It's really all in all homeless people can't work right now. At all. But I believe they can all get off the streets. Some 10 to 20% of them can go back home, with their families and humble themselves and go back home and get off drugs and get off alcohol. That's 10 to 20% because it's young people out there now. I'm talking about their 20s, 30s, 40s, 20s and 30s and 40s. Nah, you can go back home. A lot of y'all can. You just gotta shape up. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta get yourself together and you don't wanna do it. That's real. Then you got some, they got mental sickness anyway, so they can go get a check and get off the streets and have a place to stay because they mentally sick. Whether they gotta go to a mental hospital or they get a check and they could pay the rent with the check and still have some money left over. But they don't want to do it though. They don't want to be in a mental institution, and that's the best place for them. They go, especially mentally sick women, they don't need to be out on the streets. You know why they don't need to be out on the streets. It's a lot of crazy people out there. Mentally sick women, I've seen them. From coast to coast, I've seen them on the streets. They don't even need to be out there, bruh. You're going to see in the future, they ain't going to be able to be out there. It's going to be too many crazy people, man. All I'm saying all the things that I'm saying right now is going to be acted on in the future. I'm telling you. Because there's no way these homeless people can be out there much longer. If it ain't for the crime, the crazy people raping women on the train. Wow, bruh. You know, I've seen whole 7-Elevens get shut down from homeless people. I know it's almost cartoonish. I seen that in San Francisco. I couldn't believe it. I think I went on like a Friday night, and I just happened to go down there, man. I went down there, man. It was boarded up. I mean, this was less than, from the time I went down there, it was like weeks' time. I could not stop laughing because I knew why. It was like cemented in, like it was no way. They made sure homeless people couldn't sleep in there or nothing. They bricked it in. It was brick. That's what made it even more funny. Like it was no possibility of them being able to go in there, be again. But I'm telling you, man. I'm telling y'all, for real, man. It's a lot of people on the streets that they are no good. And then you gotta look at people that are dark. You got witches, a lot of witches on the streets, warlocks on the streets. They're cursed. A lot of them are cursed for their deeds, and they have nowhere to go. So they end up on the streets. You got that crowd. You know what I mean? You just got everything you can imagine on the streets. That's the jungle. So I'm not telling you to defecate on homeless people, because that's already happening. I'm just saying, use your discernment. Help somebody. I ain't talking about always helping people with children either. And I'm not telling you, and the reason why, I'll tell you something. People with children that's on the streets, I have 50% of my mercy is removed because they either did something all crazy to get on the streets, been in a situation too long when they could have been in another situation so they couldn't get there, or they just are not looking for the resources to help them with kids. They got kids. I mean, somebody's gonna get you off the streets quick just for the kids, man. You know, and if you got too much pride to go to a shelter, man, you shouldn't have no pride when you got a gang of kids. That's real. You shouldn't have no pride for getting assistance, public assistance, some type of assistance from someone. You should have no sense of pride when you look worse. Your pride look worse. You look worse, more shameful on the streets. You think you're making your way, you're not making your way. As long as you're on the streets, you're not really making the way. Not for kids. That definitely ain't a place for kids. You know what I'm saying? You got people like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's something's gonna give. Because if you notice, I'm gonna tell you something. You notice nobody's talking about homeless people during the whole pandemic because America hates them. Oh, think about it. You can count on one hand how many significant CNN, NBC, ABC, Fox News studies or concerns it was about homeless people. You notice Joe Biden, Donald Trump, none of them had nothing to say about homeless people during the debates. During the debates, they said nothing. They were asked nothing. And you notice they only always talking about the working class. Come on, bruh. What is that telling you? They only talking about the working class. What does that mean? Only the people that's working. They don't have no compassion for people that's working because they feel like the people that's not working could be working. But what these politicians and senators, what they moron selves have not realized is that America doesn't provide enough jobs for everyone to be working at the same time in unison. In harmony, whatever other word you want to use. So all homeless people in all of America cannot work at one time. Why they looking down on them? But you notice the politicians don't talk about them? You notice that? When have you heard Joe Biden say something about homeless people during COVID times when they on the front lines? Because it's out there in the public. It's not in your house. It's not in your house. COVID is in the public. And they talked, and you can count on one hand significant talks about people that live on the streets in the public during COVID times. It's hate for homeless people that's low key from everybody, like the hood, the suburbs, rich people. Everybody hates them. You gotta check it, man. Check how people talk, man. Even kids and even like teenagers they all got this real condescending talk and perspective towards homeless people, man. Like they animals, like they trash. You know what I'm saying? You know? And like I said, man, these politicians, they ain't talking nothing about homeless people. Donald Trump didn't say nothing. He ain't talking about no plan for helping homeless people during COVID. I'm talking about when it was real bad. Homeless people were just blowing in the wind. Out there butt naked with COVID. That's what it was. A lot of them didn't get off the streets. A lot of them did not get off the streets, man. They remained homeless through all of that time. Imagine that. The whole time that was going on and you didn't know what this was going to become. It was getting worse and worse and all these ambulances were going by. People was dying everywhere. Because people were dying probably in public. Some people were falling out in public. Everybody didn't fall out at home. Just think about it, man. Just use your common sense. Everybody wasn't dying or having COVID complications at home. It was happening in stores and gas stations everywhere. Pumping gas everywhere. People falling out everywhere. And some people was probably falling out in traffic while they was driving. Think about it. There had to be people having complications with COVID while they was driving. You know what I'm saying? Homeless people seen all of that. They seen all of that. Some of them was getting out the hospital, back on the streets, still seeing crazy stuff. and nobody covered it. No, the news didn't cover it because I think they just despise and hate homeless people. That's what I think. It's anybody could put up a little special, a little news article. I'm talking about the overall perspective. Because the first thing Americans think, hey, you could be working like I'm working. Shoot, I got to go out here and work too. It would be nice to be sleeping all day, but I can't do it. This is how most Americans think. Hey, you could be working like I'm working. I'm not telling you to do something I'm not doing. That's how most Americans think. And you ain't no better than me, so you can be out here working too. That's how most Americans feel. But the same Americans don't know that there's not enough jobs for every single American now, tonight. There is not. So what do they supposed to do tonight? That part, bruh. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking realistically. Why you think you talking realistically about them working and doing what they need to do? There are not enough jobs here in America for everyone in America, every American citizen to be working. It's not enough jobs. So what they supposed to do? Act like they working? Come on, bro. Act like they want a job. While there is no possibility of it, for everybody working, they supposed to act like they want a job. Man, come on, bruh. We in a bad shape. And people despise people that are homeless while we're in bad shape.